Imagine a moment when the universe whispers a secret so profound it stops the very scientists meant to understand it. February 22nd, 2026 began like any other day, but 6 hours ago, a single data packet sent shock waves through the control room at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore. This wasn't a blurry image or a theoretical model we could debate. This was high-resolution spectral data from the James Webb Space Telescope's near-infrared camera, NIAM, revealing something that defies everything we know about comets. For 3 months, astronomers had been tracking 3I, Atlas, as it drifted past Mars, assuming it was a rogue comet made of ordinary ice and rock. Yet this morning, at exactly 8 UTC, JWST's gold-plated mirrors focused on the object, and the results stunned everyone. The infrared spectrum displayed a sharp spike at precisely 3.8 microns. Pause and consider this. In the icy vacuum of space, far from the sun, a comet should be frozen, thermally inert. Yet 3I Atlas glowed as if powered by an internal furnace. A 3.8 micron signature typically signals one of two possibilities, either extreme localized heat or a complex chemical process involving heated hydrocarbons. But what JWST recorded was unprecedented. The raw spectroscopy data confirmed what no scientist expected. Nature rarely produces a spike so isolated, so intense, from what should be a cold, frozen relic. The background temperature of space is 2.7 Kelvin, virtually absolute zero, yet 3I. Atlas displayed surface hotspots exceeding 400 Kelvin in areas untouched by sunlight. Imagine a distant object, 200 million kilometers from Earth, barely receiving solar warmth, radiating heat like a beacon in the dark. NASA's preliminary report, labeled Anomaly A7, concluded there was less than a 0.04% chance this could be a natural geothermal event. Comets do not have molten cores. They do not generate megawatts of internal power. And yet, the numbers speak clearly. This is no ordinary object. The infrared spike didn't remain constant either. It held steady for 19 minutes, disappeared, then reappeared with the same intensity. Nature is chaotic, random, but this pattern suggests something else, something cyclical, almost mechanical. And if that wasn't enough to unsettle astronomers, ground-based observatories confirmed the anomaly within hours. First, the ALMA Observatory in Chile, using its 66-millimeter wave antennas, detected a coherent spectral line of exotic hydrocarbons surrounding the object. Then, the KK Observatory in Hawaii employed adaptive optics to scan for outgassing. Usually, a heated comet vents gas, forming a tail, but KEK observed nothing, no dust, no coma, no sublimation. 3I Atlas was hot, radiating like an oven, yet it remained a solid, silent object in the void. 3 independent observatories, different methodologies, all converging on the same impossible conclusion. Consider the implications. To sustain a surface temperature of 400 Kelvin without sunlight requires an internal energy source. Typical comet cores are frozen, yet here was a mountain-sized object generating heat independently. 2 days ago, astronomers noticed a subtle but meaningful shift in its trajectory, a non-gravitational acceleration of 0.08 degrees against its orbital plane. This may sound small, but in celestial mechanics, it is enormous. Yesterday, its chaotic 8-hour tumbling motion abruptly stopped within 45 minutes. No air, no friction, no nearby planet to exert torque, nothing in nature can halt a tumbling object that quickly. Only a force applied with purpose thrusters, gyroscopes, or an advanced technology manipulating inertia could explain it. As JWST's data continued streaming, the spectroscopic analysis revealed something stranger still. Absorption lines corresponded not to raw rock, but to refined metals, titanium, and aluminum alloys processed with precision. These are not naturally occurring in such a pure state in space. Combine the unnatural heat, absence of gas emission, sudden stabilization of spin, and now the presence of refined metals, and the probability of this being a natural object collapses to zero. 3I. Atlas is active, deliberate, and engineered. And the thermal data hinted at something more chilling. The 3.8 micron heat is exactly the signature of high-efficiency industrial radiators. If an interstellar probe needed to dump waste heat from a fusion or antimatter drive, it would radiate precisely at this frequency. The object is nearly invisible in the optical spectrum, yet its infrared emissions are unmistakable, a stealth system venting energy through calculated channels. Imagine a stealth bomber at night, almost invisible visually, but the heat from its engines betrays it. That is precisely what JWST has captured. The universe is no longer silent. The story only deepens with the latest gravitational data from the European Space Agency's Gaia Observatory. Gaia tracks stellar positions with unparalleled precision, and as 3I, Atlas drifted across a background star, the star's light bent in a manner that defies expectation. The object, estimated to be roughly 400 meters long, should have a mass of about 20 million tons if composed of rock, yet the gravitational lensing suggests a mass 10 times greater. Either the object is unimaginably dense, like a fragment of a neutron star, or it is warping space itself. This is not a simple anomaly. This is a challenge to our understanding of physics. Traditional mass can't explain it. Only something that manipulates space-time, similar to concepts in advanced propulsion theories, such as the Alcubierre drive, could create the distortion observed. In decades of research into advanced civilizations, we often consider them building Dyson spheres or other massive megastructures. But what if the first evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial activity isn't colossal? What if it's a probe, a small, fast, deliberate object navigating the stars using highly advanced physics? The combination of 3I, Atlas's internal heat, the impossibly dense gravitational footprint, the sudden cessation of spin, and the presence of processed metals paints a chilling picture. Deliberate design. Each piece of data independently would be extraordinary. Together, they suggest intelligence. But then the situation took another turn. The prime number pulsed infrared signal, first detected 6 hours ago, abruptly stopped at 4 UTC for 47 minutes. Silence reigned. Then, the signal returned, but no longer as a pulse. It became a continuous, high-bandwidth transmission aimed not at Earth, but directly at the Sunday. Think about this. Why would an object communicate with our star? A solar-powered probe might aim for the sun to recharge. A vessel utilizing gravitational assists might align with it for acceleration. Or, more intriguingly, a probe might exploit the sun as a natural lens, amplifying its signal across interstellar distances. In this moment, the science of observation became the science of interception. The SETI Institute quickly joined the analysis. The data revealed a digital, binary modulation, a complex bit stream too structured to be random. Early visualizations suggested an image emerging from the noise, pixelated, incomplete, but unmistakably intentional. Each fragment pointed to a form, a shape that seemed to convey information deliberately. Up to this point, skeptics could still cling to natural explanations for heat, motion, or gravity anomalies. But what occurred at 14 UTC yesterday shattered that last defense. The Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia, one of the most sensitive radio observatories on Earth, intercepted a high-frequency burst from 3I Atlas. This was no random noise. It was a structured sequence of exactly 1,679 pulses. For anyone familiar with SETI history, that number is extraordinary. In 1974, humanity sent the Arecibo message, a 1,679-bit binary image representing our species, DNA, solar system, and telescope. We chose that number because it is the product of two prime numbers, 23 and 73, creating a grid easily reconstructed by an intelligent recipient. Now, 3I, Atlas returned a message with the same bit count and unmistakable reply. The implications are staggering. Breakthrough, listen. Scientists rearranged the binary string into the 23 by 73 grid and observed an image emerge. It was not random static. This was a deliberate response, mirroring the Arecibo format but altering the content. Where the original message showed a human figure, the reply depicted a being taller, with a larger head relative to its body. The DNA structure evolved from a double to a triple helix. Earth, the third planet in our solar system, was replaced by Mars. Pause for a moment and let this sink in. We sent a greeting to the stars 50 years ago, and now something not only intelligent but observant answered in kind, describing itself and its biology. This revelation rewrites everything. We can no longer debate the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence in theory. 3I. Atlas is not only aware of us, it has knowledge of our biology and history. The message implies complex life elsewhere, and possibly a civilization that has observed Earth for decades, patiently waiting for an opportunity to respond. Yet the content also raises ominous questions. Highlighting Mars suggests a history we have yet to uncover. Could it be a warning, a waypoint, or a record of a civilization long gone? Even as astronomers tried to process this, the object demonstrated yet another mind-bending capability. At 16:15 UTC, while the message was still being decrypted, 3I Atlas executed a 90-degree turn in its trajectory. In orbital mechanics, this is not trivial. An object traveling at tens of kilometers per second cannot alter its path by such an angle without extraordinary energy or technologies that manipulate inertia in ways far beyond current human engineering. It was no longer simply a visitor drifting past our planet. It was an entity controlling its trajectory with precision, entering a capture orbit around the Sun, effectively parking itself. At this point, the Pentagon and the European Space Agency were alerted, initiating emergency briefings and analyses. The brightest minds on Earth were now focused on the same data, and the consensus began to shift rapidly. 3I Atlas was not an anomaly. It was an artifact, an engineered object exhibiting intelligence, planning, and deliberate energy use. Humanity was no longer passively searching for life. Life had arrived at our doorstep. As 3I Atlas settled into its new orbit, the most startling observation emerged: a countdown. At 18 UTC, the structured, complex image transmission ceased, replaced by a simple, rhythmic pulse. Unlike the earlier prime number modulation, this pulse was predictable, regular, and accelerating. Every hour, the interval between pulses decreased by exactly 0.6 seconds. When plotted, the pattern revealed a curve that, if extrapolated, pointed toward a specific singular moment in time. Scientists around the globe stared at the data in disbelief. For the first time, the universe appeared to be communicating not just with intent, but with timing. something was counting down to a predetermined event. The implications are staggering. Could this countdown signal an arrival, a transmission, or some other occurrence entirely beyond human comprehension? If 3I Atlas is indeed a probe from a civilization capable of interstellar travel, it may be preparing for energy harvesting, awaiting reinforcements, or perhaps initiating an interaction contingent on our response. The uncertainty alone has paralyzed many researchers. Official channels remain silent, but the data speaks volumes. We are no longer observers. Humanity has become part of a scenario meticulously orchestrated by something alien, deliberate, and technologically superior. Meanwhile, the physical characteristics of the object continue to defy known science. Its surface radiates in the 3-8 micron band, consistent with high-efficiency radiator technology, while remaining almost invisible in visible light. It is as if 3I Atlas was designed to be stealthy, invisible to traditional telescopes, yet unavoidably visible to infrared instruments like JWST. Its heat signature is a testament to an active internal energy source, not a passive accumulation of solar radiation or radioactive decay. Comets, asteroids, and natural bodies simply cannot maintain such temperatures independently, especially while remaining solid and free of outgassing. The gravitational anomalies persist as well. Gaia's microlensing data indicated a mass far beyond expectations, suggesting either extraordinary density or a distortion of space-time itself. The combination of heat, trajectory, manipulation, and mass distribution suggests active control of its environment, effectively a gravitational field manipulation. This is not theoretical speculation. The data has been observed, verified, and replicated by multiple instruments across multiple continents. Each anomaly points to one undeniable conclusion. 3I Atlas is engineered, not natural. Then there is the astonishing response to humanity's own attempt at communication. The 1679-bit reply mirrors our original Arecibo message in format, but diverges in content, showcasing an awareness of our technology, our biology, and our planetary system. The taller figure, triple helix DNA, and focus on Mars instead of Earth suggests that 3I Atlas is not only intelligent but capable of interpreting, learning, and responding to information from a distant civilization. For decades, it may have been tracking our broadcasts, waiting for the moment when it could interact directly. This is the first tangible evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence actively engaging with humanity, a confirmation that we are not alone. Despite these breakthroughs, the countdown remains the most unnerving phenomenon. Its increasing frequency implies precise temporal engineering. Plotting the decreasing intervals reveals a trajectory that converges on a single, unavoidable moment. April 5, 2026 now stands out as a date of profound significance. Scientists debate whether this marks an energy release, a transmission, or some interaction yet unknown. The sheer precision suggests intelligence operating on a level that defies any known human technology, requiring mastery of physics, materials, and engineering that borders on science fiction. While speculation runs rampant, a sobering reality sets in. 3I Atlas is not leaving. It has parked itself in a solar orbit, effectively making our own star a reference point for its operations. The sun may be a transmitter, an amplifier, or even a power source. This deliberate positioning indicates foresight and planning. Unlike natural objects, which drift according to gravitational forces and collisions, this probe demonstrates intent, strategy, and an awareness of our solar system's architecture. In essence, humanity is witnessing the arrival of a sophisticated interstellar artifact, a messenger that carries proof of intelligence beyond Earth. Every pulse, every spectral spike, every gravitational anomaly, and every modification of our own message is evidence of deliberate action. The combination of these observations challenges fundamental assumptions about life, intelligence, and our place in the cosmos. No longer can we dismiss anomalies as statistical flukes or natural occurrences. The universe is no longer indifferent, it is responding. As the countdown continues, scientists, engineers, and governments grapple with the next steps. What does this mean for humanity? How should we respond? Should we attempt communication or simply observe? The answer remains unclear, but the stakes are higher than ever. We now possess not just evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence, but an object actively interacting with our solar system on our terms. The implications are as thrilling as they are terrifying, and they leave humanity staring into the unknown, knowing that April 5th may mark a pivotal moment in our history. The closer scientists examined the countdown, the more impossible it seemed. Every 0.6 seconds, the gap between pulses shrank in perfect rhythm, following a precise mathematical curve. This was no random phenomenon, no chaotic astrophysical process. It was deliberate. Some researchers described it as a temporal signature, an event timed to coincide with some unknown objective. April 5th, 2026 has become the focal point of a global scientific effort, a date etched in urgency across observatories from Chile to Hawaii, from West Virginia to Europe. Every telescope is aimed, every sensor is alert, and every mind is racing to decode the message before the moment arrives. Meanwhile, the physical characteristics of 3I Atlas continue to defy all logic. JWST's near-infrared camera shows the object maintaining an extraordinary 430 Kelvin temperature while remaining solid, stable, and free of outgassing. Heat alone cannot account for this. To generate such temperatures without sunlight or radioactivity, an internal power source is required, and that power source is not typical. Every spectroscopic analysis points to refined metals, aluminum, and titanium alloys in proportions far purer than naturally occurring in space. This is a system engineered with purpose. Each spectral line, each thermal spike, is a signature of design. The object's mass remains equally baffling. Gaia's microlensing suggests a density far beyond its visible volume, implying either a gravitational manipulation or internal mass distribution that no known natural body could achieve. Observers are left considering the impossible. Is 3I Atlas using a form of localized space-time manipulation to navigate and maintain stability? If so, it is doing so with control that rivals or exceeds theoretical human concepts such as the Alcubierre warp drive. Even the sudden 9.0-degree maneuver, executed with perfect precision, implies mastery over inertia and gravity fields at scales far beyond our engineering capabilities. Natural physics cannot explain it. Every new observation layers on top of the last. The prime number infrared pulses, the high bandwidth solar transmission, the gravitational anomalies, and now the countdown. They form a coherent pattern of intelligent behavior. It is as if the object is orchestrating a sequence of events to communicate, prepare, or even test humanity, and the more scientists analyze it, the more the likelihood of randomness falls to zero. This is deliberate. Every spectral spike, every modulation, every motion indicates planning, cognition, and technology beyond earthly standards. Researchers have begun modeling potential objectives for 3I Atlas. One hypothesis suggests energy harvesting from the sun. Its orbit positions it perfectly to collect solar energy, channel heat efficiently, and even use gravitational assists to maintain station keeping. Another possibility is that the object is transmitting information or images across interstellar distances, using the sun as a natural lens to amplify the signal. The captured data already contains complex binary images, clearly a response to humanity's Arecibo message sent in 1974. That message included our DNA, solar system layout, and human representation. The probe's reply is not just a mirror, it modifies our message to include a taller figure, triple helix DNA, and a focus on Mars. These are not errors, they are choices. They are deliberate communication. The implications for life in the universe are profound. Humanity has long wondered if we are alone, but 3I Atlas leaves no room for doubt. Intelligence exists beyond Earth. The fact that it has interpreted our message suggests observation over decades, even centuries. This is not a casual visitor. This is a sophisticated, patient, and intelligent entity aware of our presence. And the focus on Mars hints at a history unknown to us, perhaps a civilization that existed, perished, or was recorded in ways we cannot yet comprehend. As the countdown progresses, attention turns to its potential significance. The rhythmic pulses accelerate systematically, implying a singular event is approaching. Scientists speculate, is this a release of energy, a data transmission, an arrival? Whatever the case, it will occur at an exact, predictable moment. Observatories are tracking the object constantly. Every second of delay risks missing the event entirely. Governments, agencies, and researchers are coordinating unprecedented monitoring efforts. The world has never faced a situation like this. A single object, seemingly small, yet capable of influencing global scientific focus, commanding attention from every major telescope and monitoring system on Earth. And yet, while the countdown captures global attention, 3I Atlas remains enigmatic. Its stealth in optical wavelengths, its deliberate heat emission, its stable orbit, its acceleration and rotation management, all point to an object designed to communicate selectively. It reveals information only when certain conditions are met. It is as if it is testing humanity's ability to observe, interpret, and respond. Every pulse, every spectral measurement, every gravitational anomaly is a clue in an interstellar puzzle. With April 5th fast approaching, the question hangs over every scientist, every observer, every analyst: what happens when the countdown reaches zero? We have an object in our solar system that is intelligent, patient, and technologically advanced. It has responded to our own communication with precision and intent. It is interacting with our star and presenting a pattern impossible to ignore. Humanity stands at the threshold of understanding, and the final moments of this countdown may define our first real encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence. As 3I Atlas's countdown continues, scientists are in a global race to observe and decode the signals. The object maintains extreme heat without outgassing, shows refined metals, and exhibits gravitational anomalies far beyond natural explanation. Its 90-degree trajectory change demonstrates advanced control over inertia and physics. The binary communication mirrors humanity's Arecibo message, but is intentionally modified to convey information about itself, including taller humanoid figures, triple helix DNA, and a focus on Mars. The sun is used as a gravitational lens to amplify signals, suggesting advanced engineering. The countdown accelerates toward April 5th, leaving humanity observing a deliberate, intelligent extraterrestrial system. April 5th approaches, and the countdown pulses accelerate, converging on a singular event. 3I. Atlas continues to defy physics with stable heat, mass anomalies, and precise orbital control. The probe's signals carry structured binary images and data, responding intelligently to humanity's messages and demonstrating comprehension. The Sun is used strategically to project signals, indicating high-level engineering and interstellar communication capability. The object's modifications, intelligence, and positioning suggest deliberate interaction with humanity. The countdown implies a pivotal moment, potentially revealing the probe's purpose and signaling humanity's first undeniable encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence. The story concludes with a call for vigilance and observation as history unfolds.